Oh man, I've been really busy the last couple hours. I really didn't think I'd have enough time to do this before the draft, yet somehow I've got less than 20 minutes to quickly talk about this, so I shall. So for those of you guys who don't know, once a month I talk about an arc in One Piece, which is a series that I have been reading for well over a decade at this point. I actually see in the background I have a commercial. And there we go. Just turn off the TV. There we go. I want to make sure, there's a clock right there. I can just sort of look at the bottom screen, whatever. Because my computer stopped right behind, I can just look at the clock. Anyway, once a month, I've been talking about, one specific arc in One Piece. And my goal is to get to as many arcs as I can before I wind up catching up with the manga, which we're still on Wano, so I might wind up catching it sooner rather than later. But I digress. So, a month ago, I talked about Water 7 and how that was quite possibly the darkest point in the series thus far. And without further ado, we pick up right where we left off with the Sea Train. What is the Sea Train? Basically, I just said the arc picks up right where Water 7 left off. Nico, Robin, and Frankie are both headed to Enies Lobby to face trial. Robin for being a survivor of O'Hara and being the fact she can read poneglyphs. And Frankie because he actually does have the blueprints to the ancient weapon Pluton. Basically, things are not looking good. So, what we have here for this particular arc is a chase. Specifically above two trains. The Puffing Tom, which is the actual sea train, and a prototype of the sea train that our heroes, the Straw Hats, have no choice but to use in order to pursue the other train called the Rocket Man. Basically, the Rocket Man is the runaway train. It is very sort of dangerous to ride and stuff. It's actually really cool because this is probably the greatest chase sequence, one of the greatest chase sequences I think I've ever seen. Because when I watched the anime, it really did give a great idea. Because here's the thing, this arc takes place completely at nighttime with rain. Very appropriate to bring the rain up because it's done nothing but rain all day. So this was a nice sort of contrast because you never really see that throughout the series. And on top of that, Ichiro Oda did a great job of utilizing, because here's the thing, you're on essentially two trains. You have fights within the train, on top of the train, outside of the train. Basically, and I'm saying the word train a lot, he really had to flex his thinking muscles, think, okay, how am I going to make any of this work? And it does. Right off the bat, I gotta point out to Sanji, Usopp, and Frankie, who, they're basically the main trio that we follow throughout the course of this arc. If I had to choose who the MVP of this arc is, it's definitely Sanji. For sure. This is his arc. Because it really did show that, along with Zoro, he's just one of those straw hats where if Luffy's not around and you need someone to step up as sort of an interim leader, Sanji can do that in spades. And he does. His fight with Wanzo was great. He basically was the one time where Sanji had to use knives and fight inside of the kitchen because he's literally fighting a giant noodle creature. It was awesome. And, Frank had a good fighting as well. Basically, this was the audience. This is basically One Piece telling the audience, listen, this is Frankie. He will be a crew member at some point. Bear with us. Check him out now. Believe me, you're going to love him. And he won everybody over right away. And then there's Usopp. And the reveal of his alter ego, Soga King. Or Sniper King in English. Basically, he knew that Luffy... Because remember, he fought Luffy and left the crew. by all accounts, he should never even show his face around the Straw Hats ever again. He's only there under circumstance in front of Sanji. So basically, he dons a mask, calls himself Soga King. He even comes up with a theme song. And it's awesome. And easily one of his coolest designs ever. I really have to say, this was a very sort of transitional arc. I should also mention that right off the bat. Because technically this takes place like right at the tail end of Water 7. And it ends in the very beginning of Enies Lobby. An overlap, if you will. And because there's so much going on with the Sea Train, you kind of have to include its own arc. So I'm doing that here anyway. So there you go. I'm calling it the 15th arc of One Piece. Even though it's up in the air as to what specific number you would call this. Another character, secondary character, really stepped up was Granny Kokoro. Because in Water 7, she was just sort of there. But she really stepped up. She's the one who was the conductor of the Rocket Man. And come an arc later, she has a major save that involves a major sort of feature about her. And what kind of a person that she is. Don't worry, I'll talk about that when I get into Enies Lobby. Because, man, that one's going to be a lot to talk about. Another reason why I would say Sanji is the MVP of this particular arc is because he's the first Straw Hat to actually lay in a good hit on CP9. Really, he does. 'Cause, I mean, really all CP9 does in this arc is just sit in their respective train cart and just sort of sit there. But Sanji actually fights one of the members of CP9, and one of his kicks actually almost breaks through Blue Nose Tekai, or Iron Body. Remember I mentioned in the last arc, the CP9 members are 6 powers masters. And Tekai, or Iron Body, is one of those 6 powers. And as you would imagine, Iron Body, you're completely still, and nothing can hurt you. Of course, Sanji could completely almost break through that kick, so that was really cool. And the best line of the arc comes from Usopp says, a member doesn't leave their crew without the captain's permission. And this is Usopp saying this, man. Usopp fought Luffy to leave the crew. And he's telling Robin this. So, this is when the audience is really starting to think, okay, the Straw Hats, they're good. Real good at what they do. They're the best crew like you've seen around. You love these guys. You cheer for them. You root for them. But this is when, like, everything is risen to the next level. Like, you know stuff is about to go down. And luckily, in the next arc, that's exactly what happens. I don't really want to give too much away outside of the fact that for the longest time, and even to some capacity today, the next arc I'm going to be talking about in May is widely considered to be the best arc in One Piece. It's in everyone's top 5, top 3, top 2. Some people actually have it as their number 1. Me, it's up there for me. But again, that's a whole nother month from now. For now, you know, again, the Sea Train, it's a short transitionary arc. It's a really fun arc, especially if you're a huge train enthusiast. I mean, seriously, I loved Thomas the Tank Engine when I was a kid. This arc would so be up my alley then. It totally would be. I mean, as it is, it's fun. It's enjoyable, you know. You'll have a couple laughs, you know. And again, you know, if you really like trains and dark, stormy weather, like, look no further than this. This is awesome. Anyway, that's about it for now. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe button. Follow me on social platforms, notification, YouTube. I'm very home in this video for all you guys who watched and enjoyed for today. I'm hopeful you all had a wonderful Thursday today. And if you're a football fan and watching this, I hope you're getting ready to enjoy the draft, as in less than 10 minutes from now, the first overall pick will be made. And remember, if you guys want to talk to channel, as we here, Glenn here, always your back. Take care and make good choices. See ya.